earned. We cannot beg this white man. We can't write on some piece of paper and continue to march up and down D.C. and beg this cracker to give us reparations. Germany didn't get free like that. America didn't become free like that. Okay? So we have to follow the guidelines. We got to fall in line. We have to take America to war. We have to take the world of white supremacy to war. We have to go to war with the very ideology of Willie Lynch and the crackers before Willie. We got to go to war, man. This cracker will not respect us as long as we cooning and buffooning. As long as we run around here talking about I wave my hair back and forth and go ahead, girl, put your leg up and all that kind of stuff, you will never be free as a people. The United States government of America will not respect the issue of reparations every time it comes before the United Nations. Barack Obama himself said he does not support reparations because it would upset the ideology of America in this day and time. But you don't tell the Jews that, the so-called cracker Jews in the synagogues of Satan, who gets over millions and millions and millions of dollars every year just for their owning and operating expenses as a Jewish nation. But what happened to the black man's reparations? Why is it every time we speak of reparations, we're called racist? We're called anti-Semitic. We're called bigots and haters and black supremacists and all this foolishness. But we just want what is due just to us. We want more than 40 acres and a mule. But we want what belongs to us. So 196,940,000 square miles of this planet Earth belongs to the original black man. I don't just want 40 acres. I want 196,940,000 square miles of this planet Earth. So reparations really, I mean, and as disunited as we are, we can't even talk about reparations to the United Nations.
How did that, in your opinion, how did that come about? How did we go from building Black Wall Street in 1921?
Integration.
Okay.
Integration has killed the black man. Integration has killed the black woman. Do you realize we gave our lives to sit on a nasty, decrepit toilet some stinking cracker just got up off of? Do you realize we gave our lives to drink water from a water fountain some paper lip cracker just got his lips off of? We gave our lives to sit in a movie theater watching black people exploit themselves. As long as we were sitting next to a cracker, we was all right. We sat in restaurants and ate ham sandwiches with these Peckerwoods.
Excuse me. We have a call, and we're gonna get to the caller. If you want to, you can just put it through. No, we don't have 11 calls, but you can put it through when you get it. I'm sorry.
So integration has killed us. It destroyed our movement. It destroyed our will to fight. It destroyed black unity. It destroyed black on black love. It destroyed black businesses. It destroyed the ideology of doing for self. It destroyed building a nation. It has killed the black man. 2011, we think it's all right to be integrated. We actually, some black folks feel you ain't cool if you ain't got no cracker dog on your arm.
Caller, bear with us for just a moment. I think we're having some difficulty. Remember, David, you got to activate speakers 3 and 4. 1 and 2 is not active. And you got to pull up the pot that says caller on the audio board.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
All right. How are you?
Oh, we're fine, thank you. You have a question?
Yeah, I have a question and a statement as well.
Mm-hmm.
I like what the brother's saying, you know, and what he's doing is his movement is cool. I like what he's saying, but where he's coming from, I'm in concert with him a little something. But you got to know that when you got to make things palatable to the generation that's out there today, and the fiery way you're saying it on TV is cool and everything. you at too sometimes, and you got to, you know, temper what you say to a certain audience, you know. And what you say, and I'm in concert with it, but like, you know, just be careful out there because everything is documented nowadays, you know what I mean? And, you know, you got to know your audience and where you're going out to, you feel me? And I don't want no, things have to be done in a positive way, but then, you know, the fiery way is one thing that works back in the day, you know. But nowadays we have people that's conscious, and there's multicultural blacks, you know what I mean? And a lot of them comes from an intelligent background too, and they use their head sometimes and deal with things. And it's time, it's 2011, it's time we take our rhetoric and, you know, take it more into an action kind of thing, you know. Use that same fervor and then make action, you know. Start to go out there and organize people to do things in a positive way that we could get a voice more than just talking. And like you said, that marching thing is foolishness. It definitely is. It's a waste of shoe leather, what we call it, right? But we now, it's the time frame where we in a digital age. We should go out there now and start getting organized. And there's a thing that happened in the election where the machines wasn't working right there down the street from Harlem State Office Building, the voting machines. And they had our people standing up for blocks and blocks where just 10 blocks below 110th Street, people could walk in and out. The machines was working. If they didn't feel like waiting, they could go home, have a ham sandwich, and come back and use the machine. But then, meanwhile, 10 blocks up above 110th Street, near the Harlem State Office Building, people out there waiting to vote got jobs and stuff to go to. They had to wait lines and lines, and the machines ain't working. Only 2 machines and one ain't working. You understand? So these things need to be addressed by the party too, as well. You know, if we want to put a man in office, and we need to do local voting as well. You know, we can't just wait till the general election. We got to do local and get people involved in it. You know what I mean?
All right, caller. Thank you for that, King Samir. Would you like to address?
There are children right now in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Venezuela, wherever, in Kyrgyzstan, wherever. But there are babies right now, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 18 years old, who are growing up in countries fighting for their liberation each and every single day. As I sit here right at this very minute, there are young boys and girls throwing rocks at tanks. They're throwing rocks at these crackers who are invading their countries. We can no longer sit by and kowtow and bootlick and buck dance and moonwalk and slam dunk and hit a few home runs and think that that's going to get us free. We have to fight. There is no way we're going to gain our freedom and independence without fighting. There is no such thing, sir, as humbly as I respect what you're saying. But we have to get out of this multicultural foolishness, because Marcus Garvey taught race first. He gave us the red, the black, and the green. And he did not add any white to that red, black, and the green, because that is the flag of the universal black man and black woman. So when we're dealing with the teachings of race first, this means that we have to worry about black people first. We have to unite ourselves first before we can worry about voting and legislating and anything other than that. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that before we even talk about reparations, in the chapter Land of Our Own and Qualifications in his book Message to the Black Man, the first point he discusses is that we must have unity. Without unity, we can't talk about reparations, let alone have a march for reparations. We can't talk about voting for another president, let alone have a march for voting for another president if we are not united as a people. But yes, sir, you are correct. It takes more programs and opportunities of things to really reach our people, but at the same time, we can no longer continue to buck dance and kowtow when these pigs are constantly beating and raping our babies and our mothers and our children and murdering us in the street. Some of these pigs must be sent to the pig pen or the cemetery in self-defense. Some of these crackers, sir, are just going to have to become casualties of war and self-defense, because we cannot continue to buck dance when it comes to the liberation of our families, especially when we have to protect the black woman.
All right, we have another caller, but before we get to the caller, I just want to throw this into the equation. If we're speaking of a nationalistic or a Black Power movement, ultimately that's an economic movement. It's not like it was in the 50s and 60s. Right now, the entire world is plugged into a global capitalist system. Every single country, every nation trades on a stock market of some sort, whether it's the Hang Seng or the
Chang Wang,
whatever it is.
Yes,
whether it's China, Malaysia, whether it's Russia, Brazil, Venezuela, every single country is plugged into a global capitalism. That means that in order for us to establish economics, we have to be in touch with a global system of economics. What are your thoughts about that? It's impossible to be separate and still affect change in places like Africa, which is being raped of their natural resources and their economics as we speak. And we are, for the most part, ineffective in trying to prevent that or affect some sort of positive change.
Well, we're ineffective here.
Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
We're very ineffective here. So I can't expect to try to make a big change in Africa when there has been no change made in my own hometown. There's been no change made in my own country. I love Africa. We wear it on our uniforms. But I have to clean up my own house first before I come clean the roaches and the rats and the crackers in somebody else's home. You understand? So what has to happen, we need to create our own society. Right here, it is not hard to be separate from this white man. That is the problem. Well, we are not separate from this white man.
That's specifically what I'm
But here's the thing. Here's where I'm going with that. Yes, we need international trade. We need bartering and different reachings of the political structure. You know, and I was just watching Savior's Day, 1974, by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, just yesterday, and how the Secretary of the Nation of Islam was talking about everything the Nation of Islam was building in Africa, the trades they were making with China, the different things they were doing with Afghanistan and Pakistan and all the different Muslim countries, and how they were formulating a united front to build an economic basis for America, for the black man in America. So we have many leaders who came before us to set up an economic structure. The Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey.
Man, he was talking about global shipping.
Yeah, that's right.
In 1920,
that's right.
Which is very
and
big.
Made it happen.
Correct.
And made it happen. So when we look at the Nation of Islam, who did the exact same thing worldwide.
Correct.
And made it happen.
Correct.
But again, we've been made so docile. Integration, see, has now stripped us of the very thinking of global economics. Because as I just told a brother on my way here, we are people who are right now. Crackers think on a futuristic level. See, I remember watching the Jetsons way back in the 70s. And if you look at the Jetsons were basically on a futuristic level, dealing with space and time and traveling through the Milky Ways and the galaxies, through their little space cars and all that stuff. But now today in 2011, we see that coming into fruition. See? So the cracker is always thinking ahead, but we are people who are thinking of right now. We want everything right now. If I can't get it now, I want to deal with it now. This is why we have nothing right now. And we allowed integration to come in and just swoop us right under the rug.
We have a call. Caller, you can chime in if you're still there. Is the caller still there? Or?
Hello.
Hello.
Well, where does one start? I mean, the gentleman here talked about